In the last episode of Sweet Ruka, we left you off with our collision of an unknown underwater object that completely spun the boat in the middle of a dark and rainy night. All of a sudden, there was just this loud thud, almost crashing noise, and I said, we hit something. Upon inspection of the hull in the daylight, we saw a few scrapes and missing paint from the rudder, but did not at the time find any more serious damage. As I cannot fast forward too much and ruin the story, I know you are dying to see the results of the collision, which were discovered much later and resulted in this. Before we can get to that, a great milestone is reached in today's episode. So let's start with a little history to set the scene. Curtis and I both learned about sailing from a young age growing up in the Great Lakes region. Eventually, we met racing sailboats together as Curtis needed crew on his Melgus 24, a boat made for speed and pure fun. We later transported and cruised the North Channel in Canada on a J105. Back then, sailing around the world was a dream that we were working towards.
Hey there, Kate.
Hi.
Until we came across our beloved J46 Sweet Ruka. The first milestone was selling all of our stuff and sailing out of Narragansett Bay, where we first purchased her, and out into the open ocean. Then it was our first overnight sail as cruisers and not as racers.
It's 1:20 in the morning. It's my first overnight sail on the open ocean.
As we made our way to Maine. We later rounded one of the Great Capes, Cape Hatteras.
We are officially around Cape Hatteras.
Where we also reached another great milestone.
Our first bow dolphins!
We escaped the cold and made it to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, where we experienced our first tropical storms. And finally, we left from St. Martin to cross the Atlantic on our longest passage yet of 17 and a half days to the Azores of Portugal and the Canaries of Spain. From there, we started an even longer journey, planning to sail 5,000 miles to Argentina, and we are excited to complete another big milestone in this episode. Stay in this moment forever.
See, what is it? It is sunset on, what day is it?
Day 10? Day
Yeah.
10. If you count the first day as day
All right.
1, it's day 10.
Sunset of day 10. It is beautiful. We're going to show it to you right here.
Oh, that's the moon behind us, too.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's almost full.
We just trimmed the boat up with our new Evolution Sails carbon jib, and we're sailing at like 22 and 23 apparent at 100% of our pullers, which I'm really happy about. And we had a good day.
Yeah.
And Kate's really happy because we had some chill time. And I need to stop talking because the sun is about to set.
Yeah.
We are out in the middle of nowhere. For real, it doesn't even show up on the charts in Navionics. It's grayed out. We ran across a fishing vessel out here. All of a sudden we saw some lights on the horizon. He was a dangerous vessel. We were actually headed about like that, and so we were going to cross with him. Technically, a fishing vessel in the act of fishing has the right of way over a sailing vessel. So if he has gear out and in tow, he has rights and we need to avoid him. I think that at 4:30 a.m. in the middle of the ocean off the charts, that we're just gonna take what we can get, and we're just gonna let this guy move on out of the way here, and then we'll get back to ripping. We headed down about 20 degrees to let this guy go here. So we're ready to kind of head up and get back on course. We were going about 7.5 to 8 knots on a really nice, kind of just slightly cracked off of upwind. Really good angle for us, so we're excited to get back to that. The wind is blowing about 10 to 12 knots, and it is just absolutely gorgeous outside, the perfect temperature. So we want to go back upstairs where it's a little bit cooler. Would you like to grab the flashlight, Kate?
Would I?
All right, eh?
Hey.
Cool. Now, on to where we're at, where we've come from, and where we're going. We started in Tenerife, which is in the Canary Islands, and we've sailed about 16 to 1700 miles as the crow flies to get to where we are right now. We still have at least that to go. And we continued south from the Canary Islands almost directly on a 180-degree south angle until we got to about 4 to 5 degrees north in latitude. And from there we started to angle a little bit to an angle of about 220 degrees over the ground. And the reason why we did that was to have a better wind angle for this major part of the journey. If you go into the Southern Ocean too far to the west, then we can have more of an upwind angle coming in for that long journey down south after we get past the equator. Our forecasts are coming true. We have gotten through the doldrums and we are now into the Southern Ocean trade winds. And so those are coming from like the east-southeast. We should be in those for the next, basically until we get to our destination, which is still to be determined. We're trying to find out if we can get into Fernando de Noronha. If not, our destination's probably going to be somewhere in Brazil or Argentina. That is really all we know, but we do know that our forecast is working out excellent and that we are still roughly 16 days out of Brazil if we decide to go to southern Brazil. All right, we're getting back to it. There you go. There's our friend.
There's a new day that will come again tomorrow. There's a new day to wash away the pain. There's a new day to take away your sorrow. And the old ways get washed out by the rain. Darling, you've got to keep holding on through the night, 'cause I promise you this. If you try to get some sleep, if you give up the fight, if only just for a bit. There's a new day and it will restore us. There'll be new ways. This is not the end.
The winds had lightened, but the seas were still choppy and full of leftover swell from the squalls. As you can see by the boats rocking and rolling, we motored a bit to escape the high pressure system and charge the batteries, when a tiny bit of breeze started to fill in. And being former racing sailors, we couldn't resist trying to sail again. The alarm you continue to hear going off has something to do with our wind sensor getting inaccurate readings. Unfortunately, after inspection, we did not figure out why. Hopefully, it's something we can solve when we get to the next continent.
What's our apparent wind angle?
5 knots of wind speed.
This is the best that we've got.
Feels like we're racing. How cool. There's 3.1 knots.
We turned on the motor to try and back off any kelp from the propeller that might have been slowing us down. But alas, we finally gave in and decided to take the spinnaker down. No sense in flogging the sails in this light breeze and choppy swell.
Virgin zone. We made it.
I could never settle down too far away from my hometown. With my family I am bound. I stick by them till I'm in the ground.
The winds had finally returned, and our excitement grew as we both knew we'd be entering into territory neither of us had entered before. Our spirits were high as we drew ever nearer to that next achievement.
All of the stories I've been told, secret places hidden where I go now as far as I can tell. All I know is
Roxy!
on my way to become.
Hey, look.
For our own entertainment, we've trained Roxy to bark at birds. The birds don't seem to mind too much, and it keeps Roxy entertained, much like when she used to bark at squirrels. And it keeps the bird poo off the deck. Hey guys, we are in the galley right now. We are gonna make one of our favorite boat lunches, potato salad or tater salad. This guy is giving me a little bit of trouble. All right, so here we have our chopped up potatoes that have been chilling and firming up in the fridge overnight. And now we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. We don't fall first. Might need a bigger container. Finally, here is our finished product. All right, let's give this a little taste. Looks really creamy. This is one of our favorite dishes because it's really pretty easy to make, doesn't take long, stores nice in the fridge, and is a great snack when you just want something salty during your day of sailing. Let's give it a bite. Yeah, it was really good. Just ships in the night, passing us by. Right as we go by the equator here. Lights are lit up. So weird seeing these boats here when we think we're not going to see them
in the middle of the ocean, so really wishing it wasn't so choppy, but we're moving along and we're trying to get some sleep, so hopefully things will level out a little bit more tomorrow and the next day and the next day. We did have to slow the boat down. It's very choppy out here, and we have 3 reefs in the main and a few reefs in the jib, and as much as we could be going faster, we really don't want to be launching off the waves and putting a lot of pressure on the rig and on the boat, so we're going slow, but we're still going, so we got smiles on our faces.
How fast? We were going like 8 and 9 knots.
Yeah,
right?
we were going like 8 or 9 knots. Now we've slowed it down to like 5 to 6. So still moving right along. A lot more comfortable.
No banging.
No banging. There's nearly a full moon out, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, we just can't wait to see what the southern hemisphere has in store for us. Well, cheers guys. We just crossed the equator and we're gonna share some of this whiskey because that's what we have. So first a little for
King Neptune?
Yeah, here you go. Light me up. Not my butt though.
Oop, definitely got your butt.
Ready?
Yep.
Woo! A little for me.
Yeah.
Woo! Some for Curtis.
To everyone that's gone before and everyone that has come after, may they have a safe journey. Here, here. Let's go sailing.
Woo!
So what's it like at the equator? Well, it's blowing about 15 to 17 knots out of the southeast, and there's pretty good sized waves, maybe about 2.5 meters, which is what, close to 8 feet, something like that.
Something like that.
It's hot, very hot.
It's very hot.
Cabin's super steamy.
We might sleep outside tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have some more relaxing sailing coming up here, but then as soon as we get closer to the coast of Brazil, it's going to get really challenging navigating. There's lots of oil rigs and shipping and shoals, so we're going to try and get our rest and be at the top of our game for the tougher part of this leg.
Yes.
So now that we are past the equator and technically in the other hemisphere, we get to find out about the Coriolis effect and if it's really true. I know there's a big debate on the internet about it, so we're going to find out, does the toilet actually flush in reverse on the other side of the equator? I think that's one of the most important questions in all history of the internet. We're about to find out.
To the equator! Woo! Yay!
Oh, Roxy wants in on this.
Roxy!
What do you think, buddy?
What do you think, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the equator, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Well, see you later.
Bye.
Big gulps, huh?
After all these years of racing and sailing, we finally made it to a new hemisphere. But will we reach our goal of Mar del Plata, Argentina, and eventually Cape Horn? Can't wait to find out? Check out the real-time updates on our Patreon account at www.patreon.com/Ruka. See you next time!